At this time, I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg regular council meeting for February 28th, 2023 to order. The time is 7:35 p.m. We're at the Twinsburg Government Center Council Chambers. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mrs. Walker? Here. Mr. Deeds?
Here.
Mrs. Labby? Here. Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Thank you, Shannon. At this time, Mrs. Labby is going to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Labby?
O God, from whom all power comes, by whose divine will all must abide, we thank you for our civil liberties and freedoms, for our opportunities, and for our privileges. We beg of you to bless, assist, and enlighten the council and representatives of the city of Twinsburg. May we prove worthy of the confidence placed in us by our fellow citizens. May we be just and upright in their thinking, honest in all our actions, and ever be guided by a true conscience in the legislation we propose or vote upon. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mrs. Labby. At this time, we're looking for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting on February 14th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from that meeting? And if so, is there any discussion? Mr. Deeds?
I did notice just one typo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, on page 4, the second paragraph that talked about Mrs. Walker asking if there's an angel at the turn. I think that was supposed to be angle.
Got it.
Although at that intersection, I think we could use an angel every now and then, but
Maybe both.
Corrected.
Maybe both.
thank you.
Yep.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as corrected.
Second.
All right, so Mr. Fury made a motion to accept
Almost
the minutes
true.
as corrected. Thank you, Mr. Deeds, for bringing that up. Mr. Post seconded. Any other discussion on the minutes from the February 14th meeting? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes. Approval of the minutes passes 7-0. Moving along to awards and presentations. Shannon, do we have any awards and presentations this evening?
We do.
All right. Mr. Mayor, I think this one's on you.
Come on up. Chief.
This evening, we have the pleasure of swearing in 2 new part-time members of the department. And since he did the legwork, I'm going to allow Chief Basso to do the introductions.
Thanks. It's always great when we add new staff, and it's even better when it's homegrown. So first, Adam, if you want to make your way up here. We're going to be introducing Adam Shipley. He's born and raised Twinsburg Tiger. Got his fire academy training at Tri-C, paramedic training from Parma. He also works at Highland Hills Fire, like snowboarding, camping. He's got a dog named Zoe and Nyla. And tonight his parents are here, and that's Craig and Shelley. And then grandparents Mike and Barb. Whoa. And then Ambika, are you here? That's her. So if you want to towards that way.
Oh, we're on this side. We got to stand on this mic.
Oh, okay.
All right, after the. Well, he's not even sworn in yet. Come on, Shel.
You'll be fine.
Don't raise your hand and repeat these words because they got enough firemen there. All right. Just raise your right hand and repeat after me. After the word I, state your name.
I, Adam Shipley,
Do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
that I will support and defend the constitutional laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio.
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions of the City of Ohio,
Okay, and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
of the Twinsburg Fire Department
of the Twinsburg Fire Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
as I shall answer to God.
as I shall answer to God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In portrait mode, I got you.
Yeah, but you're killing Craig's shot from the audience.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Adam, do you want to say anything?
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
I think he has to sign, did he?
If you want to make your way up.
You might,
Person tonight is actually a fire cadet, and if you've been following our program, we've got two successful members already that transitioned over to part-time. So we're welcoming Elizabeth Levy-Galecki. She grew up in Chagrin Falls, and she's a Tiger too from Chagrin Falls High. Just so you know, their Tiger's name was Mordor. Did you know that? We didn't name our Tiger. Trivia, okay. She's got a BA in political science and sociology from the University of Kentucky. Got a firefighter too, and medical school from Tri-C, correct? And she in paramedic school at Tri-C East. She likes working out, cooking. She got a dog named Delilah. Her parents, Leslie and Dennis here tonight, and her boyfriend Colin. So, who's in the pin?
Okay, same thing. Raise your right hand. After the word I, repeat your name.
I, Elizabeth Galicki,
Do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution laws of the State of Ohio,
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions
the charters, ordinances, and resolutions
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a fire cadet
as a fire cadet
of the Twinsburg Fire Department
of the Twinsburg Fire Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
as I shall answer to God.
as I shall answer to God.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome.
That is awesome. Yeah, congratulations to both of our new cadets this evening. That's wonderful, part-time firefighter. Why don't we take just a 5-minute recess? Everybody can take pictures and do all that good stuff. And we will resume the meeting here at 10 till. Sam, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, welcome back. And again, congratulations to our new firefighters and cadets. At this time, we're moving on to audience participation. Shannon, do we have any participation this evening?
We do. Drew Williams.
Evening, sir.
Oh yeah, turn that around. Perfect.
There you go.
Thank
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Drew Williams. I'm the Assistant Superintendent with the Summit County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Just wanted to take a moment and thank you for your consideration of the resolution honoring Disability Awareness Month, and also just the support of the city. We've actually worked with the city for several years now at the Parks and Rec Department to support inclusive and accessible summer programming and recreation programming so that individuals we support that live in the city of Twinsburg can participate in programming just like their friends and neighbors and everyone else. And also we work with several daycares in the cities that support early childhood programming for board eligible kids so they can attend preschool and daycare services with their neighbors. And then several businesses that hire folks with disabilities. So just want to take a moment and thank you for your support and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do as well.
Actually, you keep it that way. You can keep it that way. Thank you.
Good. Any other participation this evening, Shannon?
Nope, that's all we have.
That moves us on to council communication and committee reports. Mr. Fury, would you kick us off this evening?
Sure. Good evening. I attended the Finance Committee meeting this evening. The agenda, we talked about the permanent appropriations for 2023. Right now, we are on our first reading tonight, and we'll read the budget for all of March, and we'll pass on an emergency, so we have the final budget in for the 31st of March, which is the deadline. The things we discussed tonight is we reviewed the capital and operating budgets of the building department with Keith Folks, the economic development department and planning with Rebecca Ziegler, service with Dennis Sadlowski, and then we did the wastewater treatment plant with Nate Jidge. Then we did an overview with Sarah Buccigrass, who has been a phenomenal finance director, and this is the last meeting that we're going to have with Sarah. She is leaving us for another position in the county, and she has just been very helpful and supportive. And Sarah, I really want to thank you for the 5 years that you've put in the city of Twinsburg, sincerely. The next finance.
Excuse me? We clap for Sarah. Should we all clap?
Yeah, okay.
We're not going to leave it hanging there. Anyway, see like a new guy doing it. Who knew?
I thought everybody was going to thank Sarah, so I figured we clap at the end, but that's okay. We'll clap all night.
Cupcakes?
There are cupcakes and cookies
Okay.
and brownies. There's still some left.
The next meeting of the CIC will be on the 3rd of March at 5 p.m., and then we have a Turk meeting on the 14th of March. Turk is the Twinsburg Incentive Review Committee, which reviews the CRA agreements and the top agreements, which are both property tax for the CRA agreements, it's community reinvestment, and a top agreement is a Twinsburg occupancy program where we give a discount for additional income tax dollars that come in for businesses either stay or relocate into Twinsburg. So that includes the county, the city, and the school systems. And on CRA agreements that include property tax, we do credit back the school system difference through a contract we have with them. So they've been very easy to work with these. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Mr. Bellin, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I also attended this evening's Finance Committee meeting. Thank you, Mr. Fury. Next Finance Committee meeting will be on Tuesday, March 28th, 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The Safety Committee will meet on Tuesday, March 14th at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. And the next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be on April 11th, 6 p.m., also here in Council Chambers. Nothing further this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. Mr. Post, good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bard. Thank you very much. I attended the finance meeting tonight as well. I attended the planning meeting last night. The planning meeting, we went over that mostly in caucus. We talked about the fence ordinance, and we talked about the fence and the sign ordinance. Thank you very much. And we talked about that. There was one item there for rezoning, but that was postponed and held off for the next meeting, so I'll talk about that more next time. Charter review, I hope that you all read your charter review and emailed any concerns that you have to Shannon. I got mine to Shannon, albeit later than she needed, but I did get mine to Shannon. And hoping that you all took the time to read the charter. And if you have not, please read the charter and get any comments you have to Shannon, if you would. And that will start up later in the year. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Mrs. Labby, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I also attended the finance meeting today. I attended an ARB meeting February 16th. There was just one case presented, 230208 for Harmony Social. The case was denied and recommendations were sent to the owner. Thursday's scheduled meeting has been canceled due to lack of agenda items, and the next meeting of the ARB will be March 16th, 6 o'clock in council chambers. Last week I attended a Jedi outreach at the library in observance of Black History Month. Our own Daisy Walker opened the event, giving an overview of the formation of the Jedi Committee and then turned over to guest speaker, Dr. Hatton, who led a discussion on equity in communities. The discussion was very well received, and I'm happy to report was very positive and productive. I wish more people would have been there because it was just a great event. The video from the Jedi Police Q&A is available on YouTube under, if you're looking for it, Jedi and Twinsburg Police Department Q&A, February 13th, 2023. The next Jedi meeting is Monday, March 13th at 6 o'clock here in Chambers, and all are welcome. The Parks and Rec meeting scheduled for February 23rd was canceled due to lack of agenda items. As far as Parks and Recs for seniors, sign up for St. Patrick's Party on March 17th and save the date for the Senior Safety Fair on April 14th. The next Park and Rec meeting is scheduled for April 27th. The next Twins Days meeting is tomorrow, March 1st at 7 p.m. at the Twins Days office. I will attend that. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to some local kids in the community. The Ground Up Lawn Management Team led by Kyle and Ryan DeRocha, who collected over 300 cases of donated water to transport to the residents of East Palestine. These are just young men in our community who are giving up their time, their gas money, their equipment to, and getting involved with our city for such a great cause. So shout out to those kids at Ground Up Lawn Management. So that concludes my report for today.
Thank you, Mrs. Labby. Mrs. Walker, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I just want to talk about the Jedi vision, and Jedi means justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And the vision of Jedi is, the Jedi Committee's vision is to provide informed leadership and measurable results and serve as a resource around justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion topics for the city of Twinsburg. We strive to advocate for measures that help build a community where everyone feels that they belong and are welcome. We envision a Twinsburg that has increased communication and trust between the police and minority communities. The Jedi Committee proactively and consistently addresses ongoing issues that impact Twinsburg with the good of creating a community for all to live, work, and visit. And there was a meeting at the library on February 22nd, and Karen, Mrs. Labby was there, and you were there too.
I was there.
Yeah.
Mr. Post.
Mr. Post was also there. And one of the things that was discussed was the goals. The formation of Jedi Committee covered some main points and topics of the equity, and she gave us a description of what equity meant and how that translates into the community, and saves some time for questions, at the end. And so we just want you to know that we passed this, I think it was a couple years ago, was it 2021? And it's doing a fabulous job of educating the people. A lot of residents are engaged, a lot of people are calling, a lot of people want to know what it's all about. And I think it's probably a great talking point for the residents of the city of Twinsburg, and just get together. And we will be posting when our next meetings will be, and the meetings will be open to the public. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Mr. Deeds, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Barr. I also attended the Jedi meeting last week. The one thing that did come up was, during the meeting, was a question of how we could do a better job communicating. So if anyone in the audience or out there on cyberspace listening has some ideas on how we can do a better job communicating when these meetings are. There's some fabulous meetings. You'd be very proud of your community, and we'll take any suggestions you have.
Right.
And following up on Daisy, what you said, the next meeting of the next Jedi meeting is here in council chambers on March 13th at 6 o'clock. So for anyone out there that wants to attend, it is a great thing to attend.
Yes, it is.
I was here this evening at the Finance Committee. I think we've heard enough about that, so I won't belabor you on that one. There's a safety committee meeting coming up. It's council chambers at 6 o'clock on the 14th of March. And then there was no Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for February. There was nothing on the agenda. The next meeting for BZA is 6:30 on the 22nd here in council chambers. And then last but not least, for you out there, anyone that lives on Dorridge Drive in the audience or again in cyberspace, work will be starting on the Dorridge Drive sanitary sewer, water lines, repaving, etc. Starting this Thursday. They're going to actually start with the milling. Thursday is March 2nd, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Thursday they'll start milling of the asphalt. Next Monday, all the mailboxes will be moved or I guess I won't say the mailbox will be moved. There'll be cluster mailboxes set up at the intersection of West Idlewood and Dorridge. So folks have to go to the end of the street there to get your mail. Besides that, I could just say, be patient with the contractors, drive slow. There'll be a lot of work going on, so don't want to bang up your cars, don't want to accidentally hit anyone. So be careful and friendly to everyone, and hopefully the process will go smoothly. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Deeds. I'll keep mine short and sweet. None of my committees have met with the exception of Finance, and we've discussed that. Mr. Fury mentioned tonight. I would like to just personally mention I wish Ms. Butchie Gross the best in her future endeavors. She will be missed. We had some big shoes to fill there. Really appreciate working with you. We got a lot accomplished, and it's been an interesting few years. Pandemics and tax levies and all sorts of fun stuff. So I don't know how we would have done it without you. So thank you for your service to this group of folks here and everybody in the city of Twinsburg. We're really fortunate to have you. I do wish
now can we clap again?
Do wish you the best. And we can clap again if you want. Any chance we can to embarrass you, Sarah.
You just like to see me turn red.
Lastly, I just would like to touch on the public safety meeting, which is scheduled for March 14th. It'll be at 6 p.m. Here in council chambers. We may end up moving that up. It'll be dependent on agenda items. I know there are 2 items right now that are currently on the agenda, one of which is weather warning sirens. Chief Morgan, I believe, has got some items he wants to discuss regarding that, and it's something he's kept us abreast of during his department head reports. Additionally, we do want to discuss the Timothy Lane, Glenwood Boulevard intersection. Chief Mason and Amy have a few items that we're going to be discussing, and that's just sort of consistent with a couple of accidents that we've had over the past couple of years there. There were some resident concerns, so we're going to take that as an opportunity to address those. I know that Mayor Scafidi had reached out to some of the residents that had issues with that. I've replied to them as well via email. Be sure to invite those fine folks to the meeting on the 14th so we can have a dialogue about that. That's all I have this evening. With that, we'll turn it over to Mayor Scafidi. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Mr. President, believe it or not, I have no report tonight, but I would like to dedicate my report this evening to our Finance Director, Sarah Bucci-Gross. You know, Sarah, when she came on board 5 years ago, I was sitting in those seats over there as a councilman, and Sarah's done a great job. I've had the opportunity to work with one other finance director, and that was Karen House, who did another fabulous job for us. And Sarah, you did not let us down. You did a great job. And then as I moved into this position as the newest mayor of the city of Twinsburg, I couldn't have done it without you either. I'm going to steal your phrase there, Scott, but you've done a great job of helping me out and moving me into this position. And everything that you've done for the city of Twinsburg, you will be missed. I'm sorry to see you go, but I wish you the best of luck there at the county in your new position. I know that you're going to do a stellar job for them. And our county executive is very lucky to have you and reach out to you. And, you know, when she called me, I was to thank me for you. I almost said no, but, I thought better of that. And so thank you, Sarah, for everything that you've done. Really, we appreciate you, and I will definitely miss you and wish you well, and hope you're not going to be a stranger. Twinsburg's always open to you. Stop and see us anytime. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any department heads reporting this evening, sir?
We've got Chief Mason.
Chief, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. So I was unable to make the last meeting, so this is a little bit late, but this is a summary of January. Keep it fairly brief. Total calls for service for January were 2,790. A couple numbers of note, there were 4 calls of theft, 15 for possession of drugs or drug-related offenses, 3 disorderly conduct charges, 20 for driving under suspension or without a valid license, 5 for operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or other drugs, 19 warrant arrests. There was a total of 313 traffic stops, 118 written warnings, 8 parking citations. Total number of arrests and of arrested people and cited people was 94, and a total of 143 counts. As far as traffic crashes go, we had a total of 34 accidents. 23 were non-injury, 8 were injury crashes, 4 were private property, and 0 fatals. That's really about it for the month. Pretty simple report, but wanted to get it to you nonetheless. So, and as everyone else has said, thank you, Sarah. As a new chief, you were a safety blanket. You pushed me to do things on my own, but you bailed me out a few times, so thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Any other department
Yes,
heads?
finally, we have our Finance Director, Sarah Bucci-Kraus.
For last report.
Here's your last one.
I
Better make it good.
know. The pressure. So I have good numbers for income taxes, so that's exciting. February 2023, we have collected just over $2.5 million, whereas last year we were at just shy of $2.2 million. So that's an increase of 15.34% or $335,000 over last year. So February's looking good. January looked good as well. We have the January close up, and those financial statements are out online. We are continuing to work on our gap conversion, and the auditors will be here later this year. We talked a little bit about Finance Committee about the remaining use of those COVID funds through the American Rescue Plan. So we're going to get those used up this year. And then the 2023 appropriations, which Mr. Fury already talked about, and those presentations will continue at the March Finance Committee meeting. And I just want to thank everybody for the kind words. It has been a crazy 5 years. There has been a lot that happened over those 5 years. So sometimes it feels like a short amount of time, and sometimes it feels like I've been here forever, in a good way. So thank you so much for all the kind words, and thank you so much to council. You reapproved me 3 times in 5 years, which, was kind of crazy. So I appreciate all the support from you, and thank you to Mayor Scafidi so much for keeping me on. Mayors don't have to do that, so I appreciate that so much as well. It's been wonderful working here, and I cannot possibly say enough about the team that you have here at the City of Twinsburg in finance and IT, but as well as the department heads, the employees. They are genuinely lovely and to work with, and passionate about this city, and they care. And to find people that show up and care about their job right now can be hard, and you have a wonderful set of employees in every department. So thank you to all of them for working with me, and yeah, it's just been awesome. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
Sarah.
a bittersweet moment.
Understood. We wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Anyone else this evening, Mr.
That's it. Thank you.
Moves us on to legislation. We'll begin this evening with Ordinance 04-2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Tinkers Creek Watershed Partners Incorporated.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 04-2023. May I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Walker seconds. Any discussion on 04-23? Hearing none. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Ordinance 04-2023 passes 7-0. Moving along, ordinance 05-2023.
An ordinance repealing Chapter 155 of the city's administrative code regarding the Glen Eagles Advisory Board.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 05-2023. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any further discussion on 05-2023? Hearing none. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes?
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Ordinance 05-2023 passes 7-0. Moving along, ordinance 08-2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Zone Co. to facilitate a comprehensive update of the city's planning and zoning code and declaring an emergency.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 08-2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Yield.
Mr. Post seconds. The reason for the emergency is so that we can get this enacted as soon as it passes and get working on this project. Any other discussion on the emergency? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 08-2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any additional discussion this evening?
Yeah, I mentioned it during caucus. I would just like to thank Mrs. Ziegler as well as the selection committee for all the work that they've done thus far. It's very much appreciated. This is long overdue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. Any additional discussion? All right, Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ordinance 08-2023 passes as an emergency 7-0. Moving along, ordinance 23-2023.
An ordinance amending both Chapter 135 and 925 of the codified ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding the Parks and Recreation Department.
All right, ordinance 23-2023 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 24-2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1164 of the codified ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding fences.
Ordinance 24-2023 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 25-2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1173 of the codified ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding signs.
Ordinance 25-2023 now stands on its second reading as well. Moving along to ordinance 28-2023.
The permanent appropriation ordinance for 2023 approved by council from estimates submitted by the mayor, providing for the ordinary expenses and other necessary expenses of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, place ordinance, we're not passing as emergency tonight?
No, we're going to read it
It's
three
on the
times.
first reading.
And
Oh, it
the
is the
emergency's
first
on there
reading.
for that
Yeah,
third
that's
reading.
right. Okay, my bad. Apologies to those in attendance this evening. So that's the first reading of ordinance 28-2023, and we will read it three times, and I should know that by now, and we will ask to pass it on an emergency so that we can get it to Summit County Financial Officer by the March 31st deadline. All right. Ordinance 29-2023.
An ordinance authorizing the city to both apply for and accept an Energized Community Program grant administered through the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council.
Ordinance 29-2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 30-2023.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Barbicas Construction Company for the 2023 Cannon Road resurfacing project and declaring an emergency.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, place ordinance 30-2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deeds seconds. Any discussion on the emergency? Just want to try and get this project scheduled and secure materials as soon as possible. Any additional discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. Now I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 30-2023 as emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Walker seconds. Any additional discussion on the 30, which is Cannon Road resurfacing? All right, hearing none. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Ordinance 30, 2023 passes as an emergency 7-0. Ordinance 31, 2023.
An ordinance accepting the bid of JD Striping and Services for the 2023 road striping contract and declaring an emergency.
So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 31, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Reason for the emergency is to, again, get on the schedule and get the materials ordered so we can begin the striping program as soon as the weather breaks. Any other discussion on the emergency? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 31, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any additional discussion on road striping? It's pretty much an annual program for us.
It is.
Every 3 years, yeah. Hearing none. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Ordinance 31, 2023 passes an emergency 7-0. Moving along to resolution 33, 2023.
I'm sorry, we have 32. And 32. So
I don't have 32.
Here you go.
All right.
Yeah, you do.
I'll read it.
Oh, it's just a typo on this one, Shannon, I'm sorry. It's, oh, no, here. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Liberty Ford, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead,
And
finish.
I'll continue. For the purchase of 2 police administration vehicles and declaring an emergency. So since I read it, at this time, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 32, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion about the emergency?
Reason for the emergency is so we can buy the cars as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Shannon, would you call the roll on the emergency clause, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
The suspension of the 3 reading rule passes 7-0. At this time, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 32, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second, please?
I have a second.
Mrs. Labby seconds. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ordinance 32, 2023 passes as an emergency 7-0. All right. Resolution 33, 2023.
A resolution recognizing the month of March as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in the city of Twinsburg.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 33, 2023. May I have a second?
I have a second.
Mrs. Labby seconds. Any further discussion on 33, 2023?
Yeah, I work professionally in the realm of accessibility and inclusion, and I'm happy to support this. Thank you for bringing it in front of us.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Any other discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Resolution 33, 2023 passes 7-0. I believe this is our last piece this evening, Ordinance 34, 2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 149 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding fees and deposits.
Ordinance 34, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Moving along to unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mr. Deeds, do you have anything this evening?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Mr. Bellin?
Sarah, it's been a pleasure. Best of luck. As I told you when I found out, I'm angry at you that you're leaving, but I'm very happy for you. Don't be a stranger. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. Mr. Post?
Sarah, thank you for everything. You will be missed for sure. I don't need to keep repeating all that, and we don't need to clap. I do want to mention, I always mention Rotary events coming up. The Rotary is having a sip and paint on Thursday, March 23rd from 6 to 8. And it's $35 per person, and it's, wine and painting. You've done these before, and, goes to help out the Rotary. And Marianne Roden will be our instructor for the evening. And so if you want to attend, that's Thursday, March 23rd at the Grand Village Retirement Community. So that's it. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Mrs. Walker?
I just want to tell Sarah, enjoy your best life. The best is yet to be. You're a great person to know, and I truly wish you the best in life.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Labby?
Godspeed, Sarah, and God bless your little baby.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Your whole family. As I was saying before, I was not saying what the heck are we going to do without her. I was using the other words. So, so you will be hard to replace.
Yes.
Thank you for your guidance.
Mr. Fury?
Nothing else this evening. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Scafidi?
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Vazana, anything this evening?
Yes, just a brief congratulations to Sarah. I want to wish you the best of luck. It's bittersweet. You will be missed. But as I said, best of luck. However, you don't need any luck. You know finance well. So don't be a stranger. Come back and visit us. Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Vazana. I will echo my colleagues in just wishing you the best and saying that you will be missed, and all the success in the world, Sarah. You're going to be a real tough act to follow. So.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. And I plan not to be a stranger. I'll be at State of the City, just with a different badge. So I'll see you all soon.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We have no absent members this evening, but at this time I would like to make a motion to enter into an executive session to consider appointment and compensation of a public employee or official, and to conduct or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation and other terms and conditions of their employment. May I have a second?
Second.
Yield.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0. We will enter into an executive session and report back when we are finished. Thank you all.